Welcome to the first video of the channel. It is the PMDG 737-700. We're here in Aldergrove, which is Northern Ireland, and as you can see, live weather don't look good. It's currently June 2023, 15th, so we're in the middle of summer really. We're going to be flying over to Humberside, UK today. This is Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Let me get my words out right. And yeah, the PMDG 737-7. Of the Dash 8 in X-Plane, so I thought, you know, rather than just getting the Dash 8 again, let's try something different. The 7. And so, gonna be making use of Track IR. Got the Navigraph charts on, and so we'll take a little look. For those unfamiliar with the area, I'll just expand this out for a sec. So we're departing here, Northern Ireland, Echo Golf Alpha Alpha. We've got the flight plan taking us across all the way to Goals. Golf Oscar Lima Echo Sierra is a fix here. I assume that's by Goole in real life, those of you that live in that particular area. And then over to Humberside Airport, which is here, my local Echo Golf November Juliet. This here is the Humber River, and I'll let you figure out where Humberside got its name from. Alright, and so yeah, zooming out, of course, cutting right across through the centre of the UK. And so we see here live whether Aldergrove is currently operating under IFR conditions. Humberside is VFR. IFR, no surprise here. And so let's make a start. I miss my traditional AVI tab with the flight plan information to show on screen. So we're just going to have to make it work for this particular flight without. I realise there's a mod you can get. I'll perhaps look at that next time. But for now, we'll make use with the Navigraph there. So I'm just going to minimise that. We'll get the aircraft systems powered and then we'll make a start. And yeah, you're going to have to forgive my wonky Track IR use, but we'll make it work. Battery on. No ground power. Let's ask. Flight sim actions. Ground services. Ground power cart. Request. Connecting. While we're waiting for that, flight time today is expected to be 49 minutes with 124 passengers, 6,200 pounds cargo, and 12,400 pounds of fuel. Alright, so ground power is in and on, so turn that sound up. There we go. Let's arm the emergency lights. Close that cover. Let's get some lighting on because it is very dim. Panel lights full blast. Circuit full blast. Logo light. Position lights are already steady by default, which is kind of odd. We'll put the wheel well lights on as well, seeing as we are parked on the stand. Got some cockpit lighting on too as it's starting to come to life. My side, your side, and the panel down here. Alright, we're going to be flying as KLM 4452, and again the KLM livery is I think my favourite of all the 737 liveries, certainly the ones that I've seen. Perhaps not my favourite under the following conditions of, which is basically the thickest of fog I've ever seen in the summer, but never mind. We also got a Where is it? It's up here somewhere. There we go, the dome switch. And that really making a difference under these poor weather. That's even the dim setting, I think. We pull it down. That's the bright dome. So we'll leave it on that just while we get everything set up. Right, so ground power's in and on. Let's also come up here and get the IRS's aligning. So my side, your side, both straight into nav. Let's get the airport elevation sorted. So Aldergrove. Scale here seems a bit big. Let me just see if I can reduce this a little bit. 1.4. That seems okay. Yeah, so we're here, ATIS, which unfortunately doesn't work on Flight Sim, not for me. Airport elevation 268, so to the nearest 50, that will be 250, so that's in there. And let's close that. The other thing I want to know, and I think we can use this to find the ATIS. So here's Aldergrove. We've got the 2 alternates in as well. Weather here is right here, so it's QNH 987. Winds are 18011, variable 150210. So a bit of a gust, and of course the rain. Temperature's 13, so no risk of icing. Oh, that's very cold for the middle of summer. And again, yeah, so 180. So we're looking for depart off a southerly runway. I'll check back on that in a minute. Let's just grab the QNH 987, and then we'll shrink this down once it's time to go. So QNH, get that set. There we go. Dial it in. 987, my side, and I believe it copies over. 987 on the standby, and your side. Great. Right, put plan mode in then, and let's start building the flight plan up. So, return. I'm just going to start loading passengers now using the information that I've got here. So, fuel for the flight, as we've said, was £12,400. So, I was like to round it up and add 1, so I'm just going to go with 12.5. Return, and payload is split between first and economy. We're carrying 124 out of a potential 128, so it's pretty full. So let's put 7 out of 8 in first class and 117 in economy. Cargo, again, 6,200, so I'm just going to split 3.1 per side. All the weights here are imperial, by the way, including fuel. And so that there is set, giving us 0 fuel of 114.6. 0 fuel on the brief is 114.6, so that matches perfectly. Takeoff CG is in there, 25.2. So yeah, let's just... 114.6, 25.2. Do you know what? Let's just make a note. So we've got... Excuse 114.6/25.2 CG. And the, I'm just making a note there, gross weight, which obviously includes fuel, is 127.1. 127.1. Of course, that's going to get a bit less by the time we're on the runway. All right, just so I've got a note of that, I realised I could use the FMC, but anyway. Right, speaking of which, pause in it then. Airport, Aldergrove, Echo Golf Alpha Alpha, pop that in. Gate number, I believe it's 2, but not that it really matters in the grand scheme of things, and it says not in database, doesn't matter. I'm just going to grab the IRS, could use the airport IRS, but you know, GPS is always going to be more precise, right? So we'll plug that in and just check that these more or less match, which they do. Again, there's going to be a slight discrepancy just because where we are isn't necessarily slap bang in the center of the airport. We could be slightly north of the middle of the airport, you know, where they take the measurement from, and that's fine. As long as it's more or less, you know, if it says north 54 and we've got north 45, there's problems. Route Aldergrove, and destination is PMDG, Humberside. Right, flight number is, we said KLM, forgive me while I keep looking, yeah, KL 4452. Boom. Alright, runway, we are expecting to depart. Where is it? We are expecting to depart runway 17 from Aldergrove, which makes sense, into the wind, which was about 180. And so that is in there. Right, next page then. Putting in the route. So, let me just pause my track IR just there. Sounds like I was actually interfering with the aircraft somehow. There we go. Right, there we go. I could hear something clicking anyway. Alright, so Aldergrove 17, first waypoint after the departure is gonna be Lisboa. And it's gonna be this one because it's the nearest. Okay, after Lisboa is the Lima 603 airway, and that takes us to, let me just see if we can do airway to airway. Sometimes aircraft let you, some others don't. So Lima 603 to the Quebec 38, and that is via Pepod, and it's worked fantastic. So from the Quebec 38 is all the way to Macux, and then we're getting off the airway. From Macox, it's to, interesting, SOSIM. SOSIM, we are in. Then it's the Upper Lima 28. And that takes us to the next page, Upper Lima 70. And that should be via Penil. And that takes us to Upper Lima 975, and that should be via Desig, right? And that is what ends us up at what I suspect to be Goul, or what is called here at least Goals. Not actually checked on a map if that is the case, but I'm just going to hazard a guess. I just want to check that other airway crosses over at Penil, and indeed it does. Alright, activate, bang. That is in. Let's get the track IR back on and let's have a quick scan then. So, departure, which we've not yet put in. There's Lipso. Let's just go off in it. Alright. Here we go then. With 0 fuel, we said was 114.6. And that's given us gross rate of 127.2, which is fine. We've got 27.1 because we added that extra £100 in. Is there anything else on there? No. Alright, so I'm just going to fill the rest of this in based off information from the flight plan. So trip, we're expected to burn 4.2. Reserves are Look. Where is it? 6.6. We've got 2 alternates, as we've said, so that's always going to be to the furthest. Cost index is unusually low today, just 8. We'll see if we can't increase. Do you know what? I'm just going to go for 20. Let's just go 25. Otherwise, we'll be dawdling all day. And cruising up to flight level 270. Although due to the airway restriction, it is initially 250, but I don't think anybody's going to get too upset about that. We do have a fuel caution warning. That could be due to the cost index. Could also be winds, which, by the way, are 209 at 33. We're talking the average winds here, which is the way Boeing operate, just for the forecast purposes. Still got an insufficient fuel. And the ICER is just positive 1 degree. Although this doesn't work like this. This works with top of climb OAT. So let me just scroll down. And again, I'm going based off the forecast here. They reckon minus 36 at top of climb, which is what we've got in Fahrenheit anyway. So that's close enough for me. So 270, because we are trending east, is odd. Let's put that in there for the pressurization. 27 is in. Alright, let's N1 limit for the takeoff. I do like that you can bump these. Let's have a little look. So we've been given runway 17, which is the shorter of the two, but 6,200 is still plenty long, and it's actually going to be a very short taxi. So that's fine. Runway heading is 164, so let's get that dialed in as well. 164. 164. Perfect. All right. I'm going to give it full blast due to the. Do you know what? Let's bump it. Just because it is a short runway, and it's wet, and if something goes wrong, we want to know about it sooner rather than later. Give us maximum possible stopping distance. What, let's go flaps 15 for the same reason. CG, now hang on, I made a note of this, 25.2. Trim 423. Okay, that gives us the following V speeds, particularly low. 11, 13 and 21. And again, that's in large part because of the bump, as well as the flap 15, and we're not particularly full on fuel, and so we'll lock that in. 121. That's sorted. All right, let's have a look then. Per ATC, it's runway 17. Did we have a departure? No. Is there even a departure available for the airfield? Charts, SID, departures. Just a standard. I think we need to be at or above 4,000 by Lipso. Transition 6,000. Aircraft must contact ATC. Okay, not departures yet. Oceanic doesn't apply. Max 250 until 10,000, then max 290 until 25. Interesting. For separation purposes. We are getting the 603, I think. If memory serves, let's have a little look. Maxug, yeah, Pepod. Maxug is going to be on from there. All right. There's SoSim. We know we're going via that one. Right, fine. So really, it seems to be we need to be 154. So let's have a look. Where's the initial? Usually they have, you know, something written down for what to do straight away, but it just seems to be we need to be heading 154 from Belfast on the way to Lisbo. And so let's dial that in your side. 1720. Activate that and set that 154. Oh, what just happened there? I hate when that crazy stuff happens. Right, 154 is in. And I'm looking for altitude restrictions. The only one I can see is 4,000 or above, but I'm not seeing any, you know, clearance per se. Let's just go with 6. And we'll clear ourselves up anyway, seeing as we're not online. I do got 4,900 over here, so let's just go with 6. And that's it. Approach, if it all goes wrong, we'll be back on the departure runway, which is 17. So we'll pin that. Sid, I should have really pinned that in as well. There we go. Approach for runway 17 is 164, which we've got dialed in, and the frequency, just start sizing this down, is 110.9. 110.9, and again 17.2 on the VOR, which I'll leave standby. So if we have to come back, the ILS is in, which is I think it's standard for Boeing anyway to have ILS dialed in on the departing side of the aircraft, I believe. Right, 164 of that is in. I guess it's Airline Pacific, right? Specific. Yeah, okay. So we're all set. And so missed approach is actually to turn right, which is interesting. But we're obviously not missing, we're departing. But usually, in the absence of more precise departure instructions, you sort of follow missed approach, don't you? But on this case, it's just up. Then we'll navigate over to 154 degrees to intercept the outbound radial, and then on from there. So that's sorted. So we'll zoom in there. Aircraft loaded. I think we're about ready to go. So we'll minimize this for now. In fact, let me just make it even smaller, so it takes up a little less room up there. Wish there was a better way of doing this, but alas, it's gonna have to stay like that. Right, so fuel pump on, APU on, and starter. I can hear it. Engine from here looks like it's literally scraping on the floor. It's the weird HDR sort of effects in it. Shadows and reflections not always quite. Depends where you're viewing them from. Like there it looks pretty good, but like you go up there, there's like something weird happens just on the very edges of the engines. I'm not sure. what that's all about. By the way, I'm playing in 4K, but on this particular time, just streaming in 2K, just because it's well, it takes YouTube forever to process 4K, unless you're established channel with a couple of other channels, and the more popular ones, they basically let you have it quicker. Oh no, it was 4452 today. This being a brand new one is. Yeah, so why brand new? Just because I'm splitting my flight sim stuff off from my Hearts of Iron stuff. That's it. People, you know, some like both, some like just one or the other, and that's it. Right, so in it, my side, N1, takeoff numbers there. Legs page, your side. APU's up and running, so we'll get it on. My side, your side, 1, 2, 3. APU bleed on. Takes a load longer to pressurize the duct on this one. The duct hacks on both sides. I can hear it, sounds good. Window heats on, 1, 2, 3, 4. Your dampers, it's all good. It's all good. Right, let's get rid of the doors then. I'm used to using the tablet to do all this, but alas, we don't got one. So, just my side for ease. Menu, flight sim actions, ground services, release. We've disconnected the power already from the cockpit. Return. Doors, we've still got the forward door open. We can see that's there. So doors close. Push back. I don't really know what the distance is here, if it's feet, meters, or what. I haven't been able to figure it out. I flew it once the other day and I just went with the default. It seemed to be way off. Right, we've still got the stairs, so ground services, stair unit. I guess they'll just disappear. I don't know. Alright, so push back. That was the default. I'm going to cut it in half. 100. So that must be in feet now, because I put in 100 and it's gone 295. Oh, well, that answers that one then. So let's go. I don't know. Let's try 40. Oh, what's it doing here? No idea. Push straight out. Do you know what? We're just going to do it. Push straight out, and I'm going to tell it to stop when, you know, whenever. Select tug. Unit. It's still just... I don't know what all of that is about. Anyway, we've requested the tug. And there it is. The stairs have disappeared, so that's good. The tug looks like it's connected, which is great. And so let's go for it. So signs are on, anti-collision lights on, APU's on. Put the engine pump hydraulics on. And transponder into ground mode. And with that, I think we're ready. What's happening here with flaps? Why is the flap lever all the way over there? Ah, that must have been what accidentally got pressed. There is now the, you know, the electric pumps from the engines helping to move that round. All right then, auto brake RTO. Caution light is off. The beacon lights are already on. Let me press down both pedals. There we go. Just have to check that really was released, which it is. All right, so let's press start.
Go ahead. We've been cleared for pushback and start straight back. Roger that. Ready for push straight back. Release the brakes, please. Brakes released.
Turning the temps down a bit.
Brakes released. Here we go.
Alright, so with that, let's go for a start on 2. So packs off. Starting number 2. Just make sure that I want tail to the right. "21, 22, 23, 24, in we go." I'm just going to press to stop because I haven't yet figured the taxi guy out. Oh, I can use the tiller. Okay, there we go. Let's use the tiller to do it. It's obviously not realistic, but I guess it's just a way to do it. Perfect. I just realised I've turned it the wrong way.
Pushback complete. Parking brake set.
Set brakes. Alright, let's start number 1.
Alright, steering pin is disconnected. Watch for the slip and release from guidance on your left. Have a good flight.
Thank you. Alright, I see my mistake. I was thinking this went straight here. Remembered it wrong? No. Alright, well, so we'll double round to like the... Well, we've got to do a 360, haven't we, to the right to get out of this. Alright. Let's put fuel in. Come on, don't forget that. Right, all of this looks good. Like it's done. Take off stuff. Right, trim 4.45. Let's carry on. Very precise, that 4.45. There we go. Set flaps 15 for this one. 1, 2, 5, 10, 15. And again, bumping. Notice there the yoke move. That's realistic, is that? And I've never seen anybody's sim show that like that. Alright. Systems, quick flight control check, then forwards, neutral, aft, neutral, rolling left, neutral, rolling right, neutral, left, boo, right, boo. Alright, it's good. Turn offs and taxi light on. It's going to be a short taxi, so we'll go straight to continuous. Relight, engine, your side, my side, APU bleed off, packs back on, isolation valve automatic, probe heat, my side, your side, and with that the APU can disappear, wheel well can disappear, parking brakes can disappear. And she's rolling. 34 and 50 seconds after starting the tape, we got movement. I love to have my just release the camera and get like a drive-by or a flyby, but unfortunately I don't know how to do it in Flight Sim 2020. And explain, you just press C and it's as simple as that. Yeah, these weird sort of streaky effects on the edge of, I don't know what to call them, just this almost haloing weird effect where sort of light meets shade. By the way, the light effects look brilliant, look really, really good. Right, so I don't think there's any need for dilly-dallying, we'll just get right on with it. So engine, that's good, that displays now clear. V2 121, that's in course heading. So we know what we're doing. Usually there's no turns until a certain height. What is that height? Well, we didn't get it on the instructions. I didn't see for the SID. Let's have a little look. It says no turns below. See no turns below instruction anywhere. Okay, well, in the absence of it, we'll do as we like. It's usually like, I don't know, varies a bit, doesn't it? 500 feet usually is a safe bet. I think this is it already. Let's just check. Yeah, look. Taxiway Charlie, runway 17, and so we'll just assume we've been cleared. And so with it, strobe lights on, landing lights on. We're already continuous. We'll put the wing lights on. Ding the dinger. Leads remain on. To the right. Alright, that's gonna do it for me. Let's start winding them up. Press the clock. Flight directors. My side, your side. Should have really had that on before. Arm the throttle. Engines are stable. And let's hit it. Take off thrust set. Oh my goodness, look at that acceleration.
Positive reincline.
Yeah. Oh man. Look at it go. Alright, that's good. Let's make our move over. Calypso dead ahead. Trimming down some. I gotta put the autopilot on. Let's go for level change. And we'll start picking up so we can start cleaning up the aircraft. Let's go for 170 initially. Legs page, Lisbo, LNAV. We're above flaps 5, so we'll retract. Let's plug up to flaps 1. And let's keep climbing to 12. We're above flaps 1. And let's go for 250. And flaps in. Gear lever off. Auto brake off. Turn off and taxi light off. Start switches off. Logo can go. Wing can go. And cabin crew can come out. And we're above the clouds. I have to say, man, you know, there's different parts of different flight sims, and I've given Flight Sim 2020 a lot of stick over since it came out for the realism, although PMDG blow it away in that department. But the graphics are to die for on Flight Sim. I mean, there's occasionally the cartoonish. I think the airports, at least the stock airports, look terribly cartoonish, but they really make up for it in other areas. Generally, the clouds are alright. I mean, they were obviously the best thing that there was when they came out, by far. Still look really good, but again, there's room for improvement now, isn't there? They've been out for a while. There's room for improvement. Alright, the TCAS. Big mistake. Let's hit Tara. I do have real world weather on, so if we do see other aircraft, they should be around. Weather, we'll turn it on, but I seem to recall it was one of those things that is not set up. Let's continue the climb. And 27, we'll assume we're being cleared up. Now we're passing through 10, there we go. So let's bug to 290, because that was, if you recall, the restriction. 270 set, and yeah, 290's even in there, and so I think I'm just going to switch to VNAV now. I do all the hard work when the computer can do it for you. Belfast falling away, and yeah, all going well. So there's 290. We'll switch standard. Could have done that a little while ago, and oh boy, that was a big jump and a half, wasn't it? Good check. So landing lights off. That's it. Looking good. See the way, you know, like the way that the sunlight bounces off the water and sort of interacts with the land down there. With these particular clouds just here, brilliant. Brilliant. I mean, these ones up here, let's be honest, don't look quite so good, but these ones here, specifically the way the sunlight and shadows interacting with them, look really good. The aircraft model and detail, you know, the little markings on the window, and you know, second to none, right? The fluff on the chair and the wool, again, brilliant. The circuit breakers look particularly good. And yeah, being the 7.3, it's the seat I've sat in numerous times. I don't know exactly how many times. I'd like to say maybe 10. Twice for takeoff. Takeoff was always hardest because you had to get in real quick, and it was, you know, often pilots were too busy, and you had to try and convey that you were a cadet in that very limited amount of time, and it was just very difficult to do. Of course, even harder today. Actually, it's a sad thing, actually, is that. Right, 290, which is, you know, a typical sort of 7.3 climb speed anyway, really. Let's have a look now at the livery and the sunlight. Go on, you tell me. That's not one of the nicest. I have to say, the way that the blue has changed based on being bright sunlight is something else as well. Because it's a real deep blue, the KLM, you know, it sort of looks like that. So I think they've perhaps exaggerated it a little too much, but maybe that's again just to sort of highlight how bright the sunlight is. I don't know, actually. Yeah, these winglets, man, blows my mind. Saves, you know, almost £1 million of fuel per aircraft per year having these little winglets. Almost £1 million, which is per plane. The longer the routes, the more the fuel is saved, but the average, it's something like £800,000 of fuel per plane per year, which is just madness. As you think, how can that possibly be? It's just a way to make them look fancy and to get a free bit of advertising on the passengers sat near the wings. Well, all of the above, right? Does all of that too. But yeah, it's to do with you know, some of you I'm sure nodding your head, rolling your eyes, going, yes, we know this. It prevents the vortices, and with it the downwash, and with it the plane isn't falling into its own downwash, and so it saves about 5% of its fuel during cruise, because it's not having to constantly pull up out of its downwash. Yeah, that's it. Big saving, man. I mean, not on one flight, but you add them up. All right, there's the Bing. Let's put the sound back up now that we're inside. 27. Let's tighten the bank angle down. Although LNAV ignores that anyway. It's just if you go in heading mode, it's still SOP. And with it, we'll release to passengers. 27,000 feet. Now, again, this is a very slow... To me, this is a slow cruise. 274 knots. I mean, you know, we're not even max 7, or 0.7. You know, every time I say max 7 or max 72, I hope there's nobody watching going, oh, he thinks the Boeing can go 72 times the speed of sound. I mean, you'll get, you know, you'll get people whose only comment is when you make a mistake. For those of you that, well, you're not new to the internet, are you? You'll know that. My longest video I ever did was that Arts of Iron tutorial on the Games with Brains channel. Like 75,000 views. I had loads of really nice comments on it, and I really appreciated it because it was like people really like that. But it's like, I don't know. I'm sure there's more than 2 or 3 if I really went through them all, but there was like 2 or 3, and it was like just waiting for that one. It's like you try doing a video of 3.5 hours live that is non-stop tutorial, one take, no editing, none of that. It's just a one live video. You see how long it takes you to make one mistake. And it's mad, isn't it? But I know some YouTubers capitalise on it. I've said it before and I'll say it again. They purposely drop minor little mistakes in because they know that some people will only leave a comment to put them right when they've gone wrong, and so they put mistakes in for those people. Yeah, so here we are, 27,000 feet, and I assume that there must be the coastline. To be fair, I thought we passed the coastline a while ago, so this must be the Isle of... what is it? I'm going to embarrass myself here. The Isle of Wight. I want to say the Isle of Man, Isle of Wight. I think Isle of Man's the one down south. Obviously Jersey's even further down. Jersey was the one that was occupied by the Germans during the war. Which is... I don't think they occupied much British territory in the... what they call it, in the sense of the Commonwealth, but that was one of them. Which was an interesting thing, actually, that they never did. You wonder, like, you know, what went on in places like the Falkland Islands or the Sandwich Islands, you know, places like that. I mean, was there anything over there, or was that just a case of, you know, a few soldiers there just in case, but really they had light duties. I am a fan of this, by the way. This, see here, the altitude and it like goes ever so slightly one way and the other. I like that, and I remember seeing that. It wasn't just always locked bang on 27 or whatever the height was and just never moved. This is what it did. So I'll tell you what, to keep it legit, right? You're supposed to always have the weather on one side. Usually it's pilot flying, but if the weather's clear, you can obviously elect to swap, and then the other guy can let you know if Summit's going south. Oh, it just corrected a bit quick at the end there, didn't it? When just as I was looking up, it sort of suddenly went over pretty quick. Yeah, so Irish Sea, I believe, or the Western approaches, and over there is Western UK. And I believe our flight plan today took us that's the chart. Alright, not over Manchester, but very close. Manchester here, Liverpool, Wolsey. Blackpool. Yeah, so if we look here out the window sort of to our 11 o'clock, we see the coastline here very clearly. There's this little gap here. Can sort of guess that little gap is this bit here. Like, it can't really be anything else, can it? Because there's nothing else, you know, there's no other feature distinguishable like that. And we can see if we zoom in, I know you can't zoom in very far in Flight Sim, but this carry sort of goes on into this little bit of a river sort of behind where my mouse is, which is this bit here. So that's Wharton, and there's a VOR beacon there, 1320. So if we dial in 1320 and just pop that over there, that we now see there, WTN. So WTN, we zoom in, there we go, that's a little clearer, WTN. So we know that is 40 miles away now. And again, so if we look away, we can sort of get a perspective with the sim. That down there, again, the VOR right there, that's 40 miles away. Interesting that our needles aren't pointing towards it, but I guess that's why it's got an NDB as well. 337. Let's dial that one in. .337 ADF. Interesting. 337. It's not showing up at all. In any case, we've got Blackpool there as well. 318. Let's have a look at that one. Anything from Blackpool. Interesting, this aircraft doesn't have an ADF2. That's not being picked up either, which is very odd. Anything else? We've got Wolsey, that's a big one, 1410. I'll put that one in on your side. Let's see if we grab that one. Yeah. And that's got, look at that, pointing straight towards it. That's just under 25 miles away now. Yeah, so I used to fly a lot. Yeah, just that last little bit, the autopilot suddenly straights it out very quickly. That I don't think is, you know, the whole bank was smooth. Gonna pay attention, if I remember, pay attention to that next time. Yeah, so I used to come in the other side, over the other, as in the east coast of the UK. And flying over, you know, it was like if the day was clear or clear enough, you know, could literally see where I lived up from, you know, I realised there's going to be other people that have seen where they live from 30,000 feet, but it's kind of weird because then you think, no, I've got to go, continue on, go to where the airport is, land, do all of that business with the luggage and customs and passport, and then get in the car or train or whatever and go all the way back. So it was like, you just think, you know, if I get a parachute here and save a few more hours there. I don't know. Was I the only one that ever thought like that? Probably. Probably. Yeah, so this bit here, as we see, so not before the river, which is this bit, but there's that river that we was on about. So this bit here is Blackpool. I'll just minimize that. Again, shame on the zoom here, but this I assume is going to be Blackpool Beach. There's the tower. I went up it as a kid with my granddad, went up it more recently, and they've got this big thick bit of glass now that hangs right over the street that's like, I don't know, what is it, 300-400 feet below, maybe more. And so to walk on this thick bit of glass, but to look down, it's like there's, you know, if you got your phone, your camera phone with you, you're literally suspended over the street beneath you if you capture it right to not get any reflection from behind you. Yeah, so there I am, pushing Blackpool Tower to visit. Yeah, it's not free to go up it, which, you know, what is these days. That's the airport at Blackpool. Don't think I've ever been there in Flight Sim 2020. Been there a couple of times on X-Plane, never in real life. Yeah, so let's have a look then. Humberside, because it's going to start coming up. One thing I do like about this aircraft, unlike many, is that the fixed page is fully implemented. So if we put in EGNJ, which is Humberside, I can put a ring round, and I always like to, you know, 100 mile-ish, which is usually your height times 3 and then a bit for speed. So let's put in 100. So the autopilot's already wanting us to descend. And in fact, look at that. We've just crossed inside that green dotted line. And so talk about knowing when to descend. We just got the notification to say it. And yeah, so we'd already crossed the 100 mile point. So if we come over to legs page, I didn't even set up an approach, but let's real quickly do that. So let's just assume ATC's cleared us down to 20,000, so we'll get that on the way. And I will get rid of the speed intervent so the aircraft can slow down. With that, we'll put the heading selector back on. Down she goes. Drag required. Oh, I've got my headphones on. That bassy engine wind back sound. Wow, I had to shut up so you could hear it properly, but it was like, for those that didn't have bassy headphones, it was like really, really well captured. That sound was spot on. That's when you've got somebody who does the sound for PMDG who, you know, even, I don't know if you can capture that sound like that or if you have to sort of fake it with some, I don't know, some sound effects, but it was spot on. Anyway, let's get on with this because enough yapping now, we're approaching. So let's get rid of that. So Humberside airports. Not that one. Why has it still got Aldergrove on there? Airports. Airports. Here we go. Humberside. Alright. Weather. QNH 996. So we'll pre-dial that. Always said I like that you can do this in the 7.3. Never understood why the bus doesn't let you. 996. Percent. Forecast. 0996. Bang. Right, winds are 180 at 12, so from the south, much like they were in Ireland, and so that's going to be charts, approach, runway 20. Let's try the RMP approach. You know, tried the ILS, I know it works the other day, let's try the RMP. So it's towards Ottringham. This here is a VOR. So let's go for the RMP 20. So I'll star that. As I recall, there is no, there's no star per se. And depart, arrive, PNG, RNAV 20, transition. I mean, I don't really want to go via Ottringham because it's the other way. So we've got Luna, so let's just go straight to Luna. So exec, legs, drag required after Luna. Okay. Next page. So here's Luna. There is a disco. Let's just put plan page so we can all see what's going on here. So Luna in the center of the screen. Our last waypoint there, goals. I am going to join them up like thus. Reset NPC altitude, and we'll assume now we're being cleared down to 12,000. And we'll go back to the map view. Right. Let's get some other stuff sorted out. So Humberside is 365. There is no VOR here, so 365. Boom. ILS, but we're not using it, so I'm not going to dial it in. Ottringham VOR. I'm just going to come to this page to grab the frequency. It is 13.90, so we'll tune that in. 1390 my side. May as well have it your side as well. And then I'm going to put the ADF on my side, the VOR on your side, hopefully. Otherwise, I think the ADF thing is US overall. How many it says it's on? Right, let's get the seatbelt signs on. Turn off. Wing light. Logo. What's that? Off scheduled descent? I don't think so. We went up to 27. I don't think that was off schedule at all. Ridiculous. Right. Back over here. So yeah, we're gonna come down the river and make our way to Luna. The river is gonna be yeah, so what were the minimums here? LNAV, VNAV, just LNAV. I'm gonna go with just LNAV, which is 460 or 386 rad alt. Standard, this is way off. Way off. I always thought that the Boeing knew. You know, this is, you'd expect to say that in America, but not over the UK. The transition here is, like, very low. It's relative to the airport and the surrounding terrain. It's, where is it? I forget, because it's something I never normally look at. 3,000 feet, there we go. Let's continue down to 10,000 feet. And I'm going to go level change now, and I'm going to go for, just to increase our rate of descent, 300 knots. So let's get the minimum sorted before I forget any more. 386. So on the barometric it's 460. Set. There we go. I'm gonna turn the VOR. I don't know actually. Let's set it for 278 just so it matches up, which is also the same as 98 degrees. Zoom in a bit. Right, when we get there, which is about 30 seconds time, so let's start reducing this now. MSA for the area is 2,600 based off the airport, so fix. Keep that going. Distance 25. Bang. So in there, 2,600 feet in that circle, we're not going to hit anything. Luna, the height 2,000. So let's continue down to 2. Let's just go for 3,000 for safety for now. ADF still not responding. I'm wondering if it's glitched for whatever reason. Yeah, according to this, we are a little high. Just. In it, Riff, then let's get the landing speed. Unless there's a reason not to, going to go flaps 30, wind correction 5 knots, because we saw, based on what did they say? Weather is 180 at 12, yeah, so you take the wind speed, divide by 3, and if it's less than 5, you just keep it at 5. So in other words, if the wind's 15 knots or less, you just keep it at 5. Right, we're dropping below 10, so let's get rid of that again and put the lights on. Everything there is set. Cabin crew to go. Auto brake, it's a relatively long runway, and I think you have to go to the end before you can turn, so we'll go auto brake 1. And there's the River Humber. And I'm just going to disconnect the auto, the LNAV, should I say, and do my own little thing here. So let's go 060, heading select. We'll keep it on level change, 240, and we'll descend now to 2,000 feet, which is what we're supposed to have. That's going to give me a little idea when we're going to get there based on this green arc. And again, I want to be there for Lunar, really. Next page, your side. Wait. Rogue. Seconds, we're going to get there 25 past 7. He got up early for once. Yeah, there's that very abrupt. There, look, like that click. It's almost like the autopilot's clicking on and look, it's leveling, 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 leveling. You watch now. I'm focusing on it. Won't do it. Yeah, just all right. Did it real smoothly there. Now I'm on about it. You see that? There was like that very sudden. When you turn the head in, it sort of suddenly jerks out of where you are. There, look. There was that little jerk again. Now it's smooth, smooth, smooth. I mean, I should really be watching what it's doing with the controls. I mean, this is, you know, I'd expect. All right. I did it very smooth that time. Oh, see there, just that little back and forth for no, like, again, it wasn't like violent or anything. It was just, why is it doing that? Let's follow it round. So looks like with this little bit of weaving, we've been able to give ourselves a few more track miles, and we're going to be more or less spot on. There's the Humber Bridge. To pay to drive across it, but you can walk across it for free. And there's a nature reserve on both sides that you can walk around as well if that's your thing. I'm going to, I realised the transition was something like 3,000 feet, and I made such a song and dance about it, but just so I don't forget, I'm going to do it now. Let's go 120. And there's City of, City of Hull. Well, they call it Kingston upon Hull, right? But really it's just Hull with capital U. For everybody else it's a capital H, but if you live in Hull, it's a capital U. We'll zoom in a bit here, and I'm going to press and press again, and I'll get my vertical info there, and that looks like I'm going to intercept slightly below, which is what you want, right? Let's come left. And yeah, those who, like yourself sometimes frequent the city of Hull, you get aircraft coming from the way that we're coming now. They'll actually come and fly sort of over the city. In fact, you know, why don't we recreate this here and now? So they're obviously not going all the way to Otteringham and back. They're doing what we're about to do. So, and I don't think there's a waypoint there. Let's have a look. Waypoints. There's Uzeka. There doesn't appear to be. So they're obviously using either following vectors or some sort of custom waypoint. It's the KC Stadium there. And yeah, the docks, much of which is abandoned now. There's obviously some stuff still goes on, but not what it was. And the Paragon train station. Unfortunately, a lot of the buildings in Hull, like many cities, leave a little to be desired. The sort of the shape of the footprint's right, but even the height is way off. Hull College is obviously a big building, for those that know. I don't know, I can't remember, 10 stories or whatever, at least for the UK. That's a pretty big building. The Flight Sim, it's just like a warehouse, flat warehouse. All right, let's turn right then. So yeah, this is what they would do, and then they'd turn over. So let's reduce speed now. Keep that turn going. .202 it looks like. Let's go flaps 1. And I'm just gonna get Luna and reselect it exec just to reset my LNAV. And coming up here, let's get the cabin crew seated and continuous lights on, relight rather, because this is going to go pretty quick. Drag required after Luna. 2000 or above, then 2000. I don't know, it's a 2.91 degree profile. Flaps 1 set. It's gonna be fine. Gonna be fine. If I look out the left window, rumour has it I may live there. It's only a rumour though. Right, waypoints, let's get rid of those. Let's clear off this display a bit. I think with everything on the profile here looks great. There's Humberside, less than 10 miles. We'll zoom in. There's the turn to final. And so in theory, I don't know if this... Oh, it can. Okay, great. So we've got the fake azimuth and fake glide path, because again we're not doing the ILS. Got a beautiful look at that for a headwind. That the runway heading is 202 and the wind is from 202. That's like the most perfect headwind you're ever going to get. That's why we're just flying over the ground at 161 knots, which is a lot less than what we're doing. Runway is in sight. Let's go flaps 2 and 5. Glide path coming in. There we go. I'm just going to keep it a little on the high side just for a moment, just because of this big wind. How do we arm the... there we go. They're armed. .202, 202. And if we miss, climb straight ahead. Dun, 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 dun. 2000 or as directed. 2000 will do for me. Alright, let's bug down. is 1250, and with it we'll go gear down on flaps 15. And our ref was 131, well now 130 plus 5, so we'll go 135, flaps 25, flaps 30, let's give it 136, and I'm going to take over the engines first. Got them. Autopilot disconnect my plane. Here we go, and ATC says CTL.
Approaching minimums. Minimums.
Continue. Just. Yeah. All of a sudden the headwind's dropping off. Seeing that speed tape unwind suddenly, a bit unnerving.
30, 20, 10.
I forget this particular model has what do you call it? Yeah, I want the reversers, but of course they don't seem to be mapped properly. Yeah, there's like this big ground effect. It feels a little exaggerated in this, but still it's there. And I forgot about it, and so I flared a little too early and then hung in that ground effect and all. Right, there we go. So we're down. Oh, we've completely stopped. I forgot. Let's just turn here. Let's get the APU started while we're at it. Starter switches off. Get rid of the terrain. That sunlight reflect looks incredible. That right there could be the screenshot, or at least a contender. Yeah, again, big complaint of mine. I mean, look at this. We're doing 30 knots. Watch this. Oh yeah, that's perhaps not entirely terrible, but right, I'm going to move the tiller. Yeah, this is 30 knots. And it's not horrific. It's not as bad as some of them. Okay, it's not as bad as some. Still feels a little too much, but it's not as bad as some. So I'll take it back. Keep your hair on, I'll take it back. I know some people, any criticism of this game, and they go ballistic. You say, well, what sort of experience have you got? Well, none. Right, let's get the APU on bus, my side, your side, get the bleed on, and the engine bleeds off, open the ISO valve. There is that. That's Frank Morgan Flying School, I think. Flown with him a couple of times. Assuming, of course, he's still there. I don't know. I think it was the only flying school here. It was little, you know, taught the Cessnas and that, right? Right, so here we go. Landing lights off. And strobe lights as soon as we're now off the runway. Wing lights off as well. Shut down engine 1. Let's see if we can pull where this guy is. I assume that's where we're to go. I'm not really... looks like it's a parking spot for a Cessna and all. Nah, sod it. There's this, I don't like the taxiing on this aircraft. It's you know, some sims struggle with it, some don't. There's like a stickiness. They don't go slow very well. It's either you're moving or you're not, and if you try and just go very, very slow, there's this weird sticky behavior. I can't describe it. Right, that's the stop. Great. Parking brake set. The other engine's shut down. Let's see what we can do here real quick. Signs off. Collision light off. Taxi light off. Fuel pumps off. An at my face. Probe window. Your damper off. Oh, it's still got the dome light on. Well, we don't need that anymore. Turn that off. IRS's, your side, my side are off. Logo off. Off. Let's turn the fuel pump off now. There is a little bit of fuel in the APU before that disappears. So let's go ahead and shut down then. So everybody is off. Nav lights off. Disarm the emergency lights. Turn the packs off. APU bleed off. And the APU is, let's cut it off. And let's shut the APU off. And with it, let's turn the battery off. And there you go. There's your cold and dark KLM 73 at yon end. All good. That there makes a cool screenshot as well. In fact, let's get rid of the Navigraph thing. 3, 2, 1, pow. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the flight, and until next time, wherever in the world you may be, from me here, take care. Internet flight rules. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Take care. Ta-ra.